Good morning, good afternoon, greetings and salutations, good evening. Today I have the wonderful Dr. Holger Vogel, who is holds, should I say, a PhD in macromolecular chemistry in fields of structure, analytics, and computer simulations of stochastic processes, and a diploma in physics, both from the University of Freiburg, Germany. Freiburg. Now, forgive my pronunciation of things. I am English here. So I'm reading from Hogel's bio, which is really impressive. So we've got, after 7 years of a career in bioinformatics software engineering for Genedata's products, refiner and philosopher.
Yes, Gene
Yeah,
Data. Yep.
Gene Data. You joined Basler. Am I allowed to say your name?
Yes.
So in your bank, it was a trading section as a financial engineer where you finally built up eFX market making desk and was desk quant trader. What is that? And now you are certified. So I'm not a trader. I don't know anything about trading really, other than I've tried it and I failed miserably. But welcome to a little humble podcast that we have here for the women of BSV.
It's getting
It's
great.
really,
It's getting great. Thanks.
thank you very much. It's really lovely to meet you as well. And I did do a bit of homework and watch you on CoinGeek, and you have been to a couple of CoinGeek conferences speaking. So do you want to just tell us a little bit more about yourself then, in your own words, and not me fluffing all the language and the pronunciations of things?
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. So the last thing is what I did in my bank was coding. So I was going because I was asking for a quant trading desk is in principle running algos for finding better P&L solutions for the traders. P&L is profit and loss, so they're looking for profit, not loss, and they do it more. So the big banks are just doing it really fully electronically, and so our bank is a little bit, or was a little bit too small for that. So they then told me, "Oh, if you want to code, then code." And so I went back to core banking, kind of boring core banking coding, which is Avaloq. Avaloq is in principle a huge Oracle database, which SQL and PLSQL around, a little bit Java on the front end, and a huge silo, yeah, where you can adjust a little bit what Avaloq delivers. Maybe you've heard about Avaloq. They are just bought from NEC, and they try to sell, I guess, more in the Asian world now. They're pretty much big in Switzerland.
Okay.
And though they try to sell lots of their licenses also to Asia.
Okay, so
Yep.
for me, this is all quite new. I mean,
Okay.
I'm fascinated to know, why did you want to get into trading? I mean, where's the history? Because I mean, there's a massive history with trading when you see, from the trading desks with people
Yes. Okay.
hand near and the Wolf of Wall Street and all of this lot. So
That's an interesting question, because it started with the first bubble I lived through. I was sitting in school there, in the grammar school, and it was not just a pure grammar school. It was a grammar school with a economical profile. So we had economics as first major classes there, and yeah, in German you do the Abitur then in the end, yeah, and you have a few courses where you collect your most of your degrees there, and that would be economics in the first course, and then you can select something different. But I skipped then because economics was kind of boring, but the stock trading was, or at least corporates and also legal and interest calculation was quite interesting. And so I figured out, okay, there are stocks, and I bought, I think, reading maybe you know Asterix and Obelix.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah, completely. The
Asterix
Viking
and Obelix,
cartoon.
Clever and
Yeah.
Smart. I love the comics there in these days. And at my kiosk, there was also kind of a new magazine called Börse Online, which is
Okay.
online. There was no online. It was round about 86, 1986, 87. There was no online. They were pretty much ahead of the time, calling the magazine Börse Online, which is stock markets online. There was no, there was nothing online there, but there was a big part of it inside about Japanese warrants,
All right. Okay.
Excel sheets of data about these warrants, and I was just keen on, what is this? And I just went to my local Sparkasse. You maybe know what a Sparkasse is. It's kind of a really local bank in
Okay.
Germany, spread over entire Germany.
Well,
And
I will admit the last time I did German was at secondary school as well. So
yeah,
I did
okay,
visit. I visited the Rhineland a few times, and
yeah,
I apologize for my ignorance. I've been to Cologne, and Cologne
Köln, yeah.
completely
Mm.
beautiful, and stayed in the Black Forest. But yeah, no, carry on. This
The Black
carry
Forest
on.
is just next to me. So Black Forest is, I'm living just at the where the Black Forest ends and Switzerland starts, just in the middle.
Oh,
So
beautiful!
yeah,
Yes,
it's really
absolutely
beautiful.
stunning. Yeah.
You can decide. Oh, where do, yeah? I'm not skiing anymore. I was, yeah. Skiing is not mine, but if you like the mountains, you can just decide, okay, smooth, not that much big mountains. It's in the Black Forest, and really big mountains, just 1 hour or 2 hours to go.
Really
And
inspiring
for
and inspirational. So do you think that, because as far as I know, Germany has always been ahead with a lot of things when it comes to like technology and chemistry
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
you know
yeah,
banking, particularly
yes,
one of the biggest banking industries, and well, as far as
true.
I'm aware.
Frankfurt, yeah.
So carry on telling us about the magazine then, the online.
There was the Japanese was on a hype there in these days. So 80, I guess that stopped around about when I was too busy. I got too busy with my Abitur to get the exercises done, and so I sold luckily everything before the bubble burst. So that was really luck. So I earned a little bit money in my little pocket money from school in principle, and I earned a little bit because my Sparkasse wasn't really looking about risk and all that stuff, because in the old days it was really interesting that I could just go to the Sparkasse and say, hey, okay, I want to buy whatever. I give you some IC numbers, and you buy just for me. And they did. I had today you have to do lots of risk. How do you say? The banks ask you what kind of risk category you fall in, and then you are only allowed to buy stuff which is matching to the risk category they
Mhm.
put you in, and then they kind of fine in terms of yeah, if you lose money, yeah, in principle. That what happens after the dot-com bubble. That was the
Yeah,
second bubble I was in, yeah. I was like, I didn't get it that it was that big bubble. Um, yeah. But after this dot-com bubble bursted, then you had all the regulations for consultancy or the consultant in the bank that you have to ask the people for the risk profiles, yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean,
Yeah. So, and
for
I
somebody.
started to trade there a little bit, and in the university, I was, as you have mentioned, I was learning also about stochastical processes, which is in the end the only model that is, yeah, I would say it's the only model where you can describe a price chart over time, because it's a process. yeah, building a price in a market is always a process, and the only thing you have is stochastics behind it. It's probability distributions.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I try to model stuff on the computer. I learned a little bit Java, and in bioinformatics, you learn a little bit about genetic algorithms. That is machine learning a little bit already. And I plugged some stuff together, and I tried it out, and I thought, okay, bioinformatics was quite complicated. It's hard to find solutions in bioinformatics, and I think it's 100 years away that you can derive from the information you see on the genes, and even that it's just on the genes. Yeah, you know, there's just a linear information there, like a code. It's code in principle
Yeah.
there.
It's
But
interesting it's called bio because, I mean, obviously that suggests
yes,
something that's biological, but you're applying this to machine learning in a trading
uh, maybe
capacity.
otherwise around, because we can learn from nature how
Oh
they
yeah.
do the process of generating new species, and this is kind of a random change of in principle the information on the gene. It's made by whatever maybe the sun is doing it already, was destroying by hard radiation some genes and toggle it, and then you breed again. Yeah, and then you have different species afterwards. But the nature is selecting the winners by success. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
really
yeah,
hard
yeah, yeah,
success.
yeah.
It's the Darwin found it out that success is the decider, and you can do the same on the computers too. You give it some basic logic to start. I started to model a trading signals in principle. When is the best signal? When should I start buy? When should I start selling? And you give it just a simple set of Boolean logics and a training set. That's the issue. What training set you are giving, because for this training set to optimize the result, which is the profit, it's just a number, and you just breed anything many times. Computers can do really good breeding, and then you
Mm.
select, and you know, new population, and you select, and in the end you have some funny logic, and it kind of worked. I was happy. Okay, there's something I found which might be worth of testing, because then you have to do real life testing, or kind of real life or near life testing. And so that's, I think that was I was telling you about, or telling CoinGeek, where I come to Bitcoin, because I found out about Second Life. Second Life was a game,
Yeah.
kind of, or a meta game already, and there you could kind of in a closed environment, you could trade, I guess also Linden dollars, or for the other stuff there, much more close to nature, but not full in real life against real stocks. And so I tried, okay, why not trying this environment for testing my algorithms? But I stopped because I found about Bitcoin. Oh,
Well,
what's that?
there's some interesting things here that we've
Yes.
touched on. I mean, like, firstly, the history of German banking goes back to like the Middle Ages, you know. So there's a
Italian
long,
started it, actually. The Italian, yeah,
yeah.
Medici
So
maybe.
I mean, when you're applying your sort of data sets and your algorithms, like, how far back do you go in history, or is that a
Oh,
secret?
okay. Um, yeah, that's interesting. So maybe you can still download data from Yahoo Finance from the old days of 1920, whatever, when the crisis were there in banking, or in the financial, one of the first financial crises we had in the 20s, around 1920s round. And there
Was it not
you can find stock for the Dow Jones, for the American markets, from these
right?
days
Okay,
on.
because Wasn't that what they call the Weimar Republic period, like
In
1990
Germany, yes, you had the
1933?
brutal inflation area for German currency. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and
true.
that caused a lot of economic turmoil
Yes.
as well at that time, didn't it?
Yeah.
So that's an interest. Okay, so really, within the start of this horrendous economic turmoil, is where you kind of started your data sets from. Going, that's like
Yeah.
100 years worth
So
of
in
data
principle,
there.
you can figure out that there's a problem with trend in the markets always.
Yeah,
That you learn if you try to model markets anyhow, because you have always they're kind of
cycles.
following the interest rates too. Mm, but there,
So
yeah,
yeah, I can imagine there's some very interesting
yes,
data that
yeah,
comes out of
you
that
find out
when you
pretty much
see, yeah,
interesting effects
patterns
on
and stuff. Yeah,
what your training set is looking like. Because if you try running against the trend market, then you don't get much information, and in the
mm,
end, I ended up in, yeah, you can't predict the future that way. So
yeah,
your
and also,
probability is wrong. You're always late. You have to
yeah.
do prediction of future, and this is not possible much more that way. So that in principle, it's useless in the end. Yeah.
Well, I mean, interesting, really, as well, because you start after one war, you go through another war, like First World War through the Second World
Yeah.
War. So they're
Yeah.
really sort of tumultuous times within a
Mm.
banking system, and then through the 60s, 70s, 80s, hippies, 90s, and then
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
noughties. So we've got a, I mean, that's a really diverse set
Yes.
that you've been through
But
there.
so you can find a little bit about patterns. So there are this is so because I learned a lot about fractals in my macromolecular chemistry research.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was looking also for long chain structures, which was cellulose, and you can I did light scattering, and you do light scattering because you cannot really measure in the thing in real. Yes, it's hard because if you have things in solution, so the problem is things was all was in solution, and then you cannot really go and find direct measurement methods. So light scattering is going into indirect measuring. You're measuring the profile of your scattering, and the scattering itself is not really giving you full information about the specimen. But you can make you can classify it in terms of how many dimensions it should have. That's quite interesting. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
dimension
yeah.
research is really funny, and so you're getting into fractal dimensions, and you see in trading patterns, I would say there are also kind of fractal dimensions patterns in principle there that repeat, but still, the prediction of those patterns is, yeah, doesn't make sense much. I
I
guess
would
it's
never have thought that, like, really, that fractal geometry would be able to help and assist in trading algorithms. But
okay.
actually, while you're
Yeah,
explaining
it
it,
is. It is.
it
It
just
is.
makes sense. Yeah,
I think in trading, everything helps that tries to model. So there's maybe it's kind of our yeah our I'd say we are pretty much desperate to put everything into a model that we
yeah.
can try to understand. So and the model, any model is where you can understand parts of the big not understandable nature is interesting for
So
scientific and trading, whatever. Yeah. Hmm?
is this also then part of why Bitcoin really kind of interested you? Because we're talking like
Sure.
speed of
Sure.
light delivery and
Sure.
stuff as well.
Sure.
So I mean,
Yes.
I get a feeling that you can visualize things when you're looking at
Yes.
stuff. Are you a visual kind of person?
Yes.
Okay, so you
Maybe
just
we should start really, really early. When I was in kindergarten, I was sent to maybe it's not known outside of Germany or others. It's kind of a Waldorf kindergarten, which is kind of funny because you don't get much things to play. You get just raw wood and raw wool and raw whatever, and you have to play with imagination.
So it's like a genius kind of
You don't get
kindergarten.
Legos, yeah. You don't. As I
Yeah.
was always keen to have Lego
Yeah.
at home, then in the end, but you don't have it in the kindergarten because they are kind of. There's also a musician part there. You dance.
Mhm.
Some people say you learn dance your name or something like that. Yeah, yeah. It's really it's kind of interesting. And luckily, I was not then because there's a Waldorf school in the afterwards, but I was luckily not going there because it gets getting a little bit awkward, I guess, if you go to the schools or to. But the kindergarten was quite interesting for me, at least for my maybe for the brain, and also to imagine, because I start playing with any brick of wood, like this is my car now because I had no car, so you have to do something with it, and this is training your imagination, I guess,
Yeah,
really, really.
yeah.
And so
That's an interesting concept as well. Instead of sort of being sat there and just repetitive, repeat after me, just go and play and use your imagination and see what
yes,
you come up with. And I
yes,
think from my own personal opinion, I feel that that is a better way of being allowed to learn, because you definitely learn from mistakes, but you
yes,
also, like
hmm
you say, if I mean, I used to take things apart and then try and rebuild them again. I think my brother's very
hmm
much the same as that as well. So you
yes,
see something, you want to know how it works, so you take it all to pieces, and then you've got loads of pieces on the floor in front of you, and it's like, okay, now how do I put it back together again? Or make
absolutely,
something different out of it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is something when I had Legos, yeah, and I had wood still, and I had whatever, maybe Fischer Technik is some German play where you also plug things together, and you have Märklin, Metallbau, whatever. So I had lots
Oh
of
no.
different,
Yeah.
this Märklin Metall,
Yeah.
where you can also have metal things and screw things together,
Yeah.
and so I had everything on my floor and play together, even Playmobil and all these things, and try to merge these things together. And this is getting me now to what I think uh, how our big IT landscapes are still looking like. You buy
Okay.
lots of different silos or monoliths together, at least if you're working in a bank or other big companies, they have to buy from different vendors things together, and they doesn't match to each other. You have always to interface them.
Mhm.
And these things getting really, really too complex in the end, because we buy another one and another one. And now, yeah, we need this client needs this one. Oh, we have to, and IT is in principle imploding in complexity. And I say we can fix this.
Okay. So you feel that we can fix this with
Game. You name it. So game is the thing that everybody keeps learning, and it makes fun.
yeah.
And everybody is keen on getting better, and so I'm still in a group doing how do you, board games. We just meet
Chess,
every 2 months and
backgammon.
then sit together and play whatever board game we try to. And there was also role playing before. Role playing.
Oh,
That's a
cool.
long time ago.
So is that online role playing, or is that
No,
actually
that was
going out and
early
doing
days, really, really
cosplay
early
role
days.
playing?
We had
Yeah.
just dice and a book.
Oh, so like
Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons then, basically, like that kind of thing,
yeah,
really.
not that one. That was bad. No, no, we played Midgard, maybe
Oh
Midgard, and
yeah, 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 yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Midgard.
completely. Yeah,
This was
yeah.
one of the best books, I would say, in terms of
Well,
rules. And
these are great ways for, like you say, being able to. First, it's kind of historical.
yes,
Secondly, it's using your imagination, numbers involved in dice rolls, and actually,
yeah,
trying to strategically plan how you're going to be able to navigate all these obstacles that are there, and stay alive at the same time as well, because once you're dead, you're out of the game. But also you get right into that character as well. You learn it's a bit like, it is very much like acting.
It is really, and you have to have you have to have a great master who's really moderating and gives you really the right motivation to do another round and another day and whatever, and then that makes really fun in the end.
So I know that because you told me that you are kind of shifting from being in one place and transitioning to being into another line of business, basically. So what are you going to be? Are you going to be working on some kind of game?
It is. I think that is what you can learn also from Bitcoin is why is it still running? It's a game theoretical. You can cast it again in a model, which Greg also told me, because I never was aware about this Stackelberg game, which is a multi-leader, multi-follower game, and you see it really play nicely in the mining. The miners are some of the leaders and some are the followers, and you see it works really great. And these few, they're not much there, they're not much really that can share the game properly, but you see it is really giving the entire mining or Bitcoin building game such a resilience never seen on the planet before, I guess. If anybody can point me to something similar, I'm happy to learn this too. But I think Bitcoin, at least in the IT infrastructure, I think that's the only game we have, and it's quite new. And I would say this idea, or at least Bitcoin underpinned, or maybe I think you need Bitcoin for the it is an electronic cash system. Yes, it is a system. And you have to have something where you use the cash for, or it's not a system. And I think the other part is still kind of missing. For what should I buy, or what should this cash be useful for? And I would say it's just not for apes, but it's for apes is kind of a code already, because ape is coded up in some easy pixel information. It's code, we can agree. It's also code behind an ape picture, but it's doing nothing much. It's static. So if you go to stochastical process from there, well, maybe it's too, that was maybe too big jump. But static is always the first thing you study. I was also many years studying static structures only. Static structures is a lifetime research, even still in easy polymer chemistry. It's just the statics. Understand the statics first in DNA, in genomics. Still, the problem is that these things are folding. They are spherical structures there too, yes? And the static thing. And the static thing on a gene is giving you also, they can block genes from reading out. So they're not used because they're folded up and they're never used. But you don't get it if you really understand static structure first. And then you can go to dynamics. So static structures is always kind of complicated, but mostly you can get it to understand. So, but then the next step is try to think of Bitcoin as a static thing.
Well, I'm when you say static, I'm thinking about architecture, but I mean it's anything that literally doesn't change.
Architecture, if you build a house just on static basis, you might forget some stuff here, because you're not a good architect is trying to walk through where your where are your switches, where do you need things on daily basis, on dynamic daily basis, and this
Yeah.
is a good architecture of a building. And this is interesting. It's really hard to get it right. Yeah, after many people create their own building, and a few years later, they're getting pissed because they have something wrong
Doesn't
there.
work. Yeah. It was like there's no, there's this sort of engineering like design program code to include classes and methods and
Yes,
relationships
yes,
between objects and things. So
yes,
if there's no relationship between those objects
yeah,
or why that is there,
yeah.
then it's like okay. So it's logical, rational structuring of fundamental foundations to be able
Mm,
to build up on top of. So I don't know whether you can answer this, but how do you see Bitcoin fitting in within the banking structure at the moment? Because they obviously there's a lot of development with cryptocurrencies. We know, but BSV being a commodity
mm.
and all of the CBDCs at the moment. I mean, from your standpoint, are there discussions about, yeah, I mean, what can you tell us that the banking system
Mm.
are discussing about CBDCs and whether or not they've looked at BSV technology?
Yes. So okay, first, I think that should be always first that I must have a disclaimer that I'm not here for financial advice and not
Yeah,
legal advice and whatever.
always a disclaimer at the bottom of the
The
description.
disclaimer, the banker's disclaimer. So I'm not a banker anymore. So anyhow, I should say these things before. So I'm not getting anyone into investing into whatever. Oh, that's also, I think the best investment is the investment you do just in yourself.
What your intuition tells you is right, not what somebody
Is
else tells
is
you.
and the problem at the moment is we don't have these kind of digital assets, I would also say, because everything I invested in myself is kind of a virtual investment too,
Hmm.
and this should be kind of a digital asset maybe that I own. So I try to create stuff for my own. So okay, an ape picture could be such a thing, but that's a boring thing. Um, but you should
Unless
invest. You should have an environment. So this is maybe the new environment we hope we can create out of with help of Bitcoin. Hopefully that you can have a secure environment, that you can store your own digital assets in this world. Kind of, I
mm.
don't know what it is, but it is free. So
So
yeah,
kind of in one place with like gaming and stuff. If you are in
features
a,
what you've done. I think
yeah,
everything
so
you
you
know.
own
Yeah. Mm,
an architectural structure within a game, and then anything
yes.
within that,
Yes.
that will
Yeah.
stay in
Yeah.
one wallet, and
Yeah.
everything, all the assets like your
Yes.
fireplace and your pictures on your walls and your
Yeah.
furniture, they can all stay in one. But basically, it's the interoperability of being able to keep all of your assets in one place, but also then use them elsewhere, or is it just
At least
about?
that you can keep ownership to it and start sharing it, also for license, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, because if you are, and that's also quite interesting, that I also think the best thing human can do is creating structures too, like nature has done with DNA.
Mm,
DNA is, I guess, the most worthful structure on the planet. Any nature has done, not we, but nature has done. Maybe we have done some stuff like the internet is kind of a structure because we're giving it structure, and then also our thoughts maybe can be structured. Yeah. So I have problems with structuring my thoughts too. So, but if you have a concept there, which 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 others can also try to use, in principle, like. like the miners in the, because you have leaders there. You have this. It's a game with two. You have some leaders and some followers, hopefully, and then you have a game, and maybe the followers learn more, do more, and get the leaders somewhere. And then you can create lots of nice structures we haven't seen yet because we cannot think of. And this is in the virtual world. I guess the virtual world is completely open for human now to create such structures of value. You can also say, maybe you know about value chains too.
Yeah.
There's a modern world of value chains created, and even supply chains, I think, are also there to firstly solve properly in the virtual world. So it's easier to solve things fully virtual. Yeah, we can agree
So
on, because
yeah. So really, in the banking world, then, do you think everybody's looking for a leader, somebody to start the process, and then they can see where the failures are or
okay,
what works
yeah.
and what doesn't work, and then
So
okay, well,
yeah,
you've
okay.
done it. Maybe we might try then.
Yes. So the okay, we can start with what happened the last few years with Bitcoin and the blockchain. We have seen that it's got hijacked
Yeah.
by many people who thought it is the solution for money laundering and whatever, and Ponzi. And this bubble, I guess it's bursting at the moment. I hope it's bursting or must burst, because otherwise I don't see that you can get the reputation. In banking, it's everything is about reputation,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
you don't want to get tainted with bad reputation at all. And crypto has, at least what I hear, also not only from our or my ex bank, it has the worst reputation at the moment, or had it before maybe. But I guess you have to wait for years for crypto, that banks are really touching it. That's what
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean,
yes,
because when you sort of, all you hear in mainstream media is the negative side of
yes,
what has
yeah,
happened, and
yeah.
very few people still understand that, they don't understand that
Hmm?
BTC isn't actually the technology that BSV is the Bitcoin from the white paper, and they don't understand the technology or exactly what it can do. As a lot of
Yes.
people still think it's just a digital gold, and it doesn't actually do anything. It's just
Mm,
something to trade on.
yeah.
And
But they try to cast it then down into blockchain, and they figure out, oh, blockchain doesn't do much. Yeah, it's also static, and they
yeah,
cannot. There's no problem that you can yeah, that can be fixed using a blockchain. That's really
but like you,
funny. It
you
has
said
also bad
before,
reputation at the moment. Yeah,
yeah,
blockchain,
but like
doesn't scale, whatever.
you say though, the static structure,
Yeah.
needs to be there in the first place, and that's what
Mm.
the having a protocol that doesn't change is your static structure,
This is
basically.
something. This is absolutely also my thing. This is compliance thing. So because I worked the last few years, I worked for compliance, but rather for compliance teams, but or anti-money laundering. Hmm, yeah, but I think the most crucial thing there is not the AML and KYC stuff. It is product compliance scene. So if
Hmm.
the product, that's what you say, if the product is not stable, and it's how to say, we do lots of structured products. Maybe you've heard about structured product, like FX option is one of the plain vanilla structured product you just create out of an FX deal. Yep, an option
Yeah,
or something like that. Or future is also structured product. Mm. And you have to get the terms and conditions for if you want to sell it to a client, you have to get it really legally bold and stable and whatever, and it's expensive to get out the term sheets before you sell the product properly. And I don't or I would say I only see for a stable implementation of Bitcoin, I see it. There's a match of the terms, which is the white paper, maybe the first reference implementation on SourceForge and not on GitHub. We know it was SourceForge and not on GitHub. And these and once I think it's set in stone, you can say, okay, this is the terms and conditions Bitcoin has to comply, and the implementation has to comply, because all the rest is an abstract term. Bitcoin is something. The protocol is an abstract thing. And it is released by Satoshi, and it's called Bitcoin. It's done. You can't change it anymore. It's really, I think, I just talked, we talked about, with other guys about this, that how is it possible that Bitcoin can change on a protocol level? And I want to see the legals who discussing this first. Yeah, legals, you have to have product attestation and all the people sitting together in the end, Big Four, EY, PwC, whatever, these guys, they need maybe to come to get over together to get a consensus to what is the correct product in the end, or the implementation, because it's delivered. Delivered is not anymore abstract. Yeah, so if you deliver something to the client, it must be it is an implementation in the end of Bitcoin, and it must fully comply to the rules. Otherwise, your client can sue you, and say, "Oh, price went down, I sue you."
Yeah.
And every change BTC devs are doing, good luck. Yeah, nobody. I don't see quite from the big bank side who does the product compliance correctly, selling this to private clients. I don't see them. We don't. Yeah.
No, that's interesting.
Because of this, there's a really huge risk there in selling something which is not really the product. And this is coming then to commodities. Yes, if there is really use, why shouldn't it be a commodity?
And with Bitcoin, well, BSV, there is real use, so this is why it's
Again,
classed as
the
a commodity.
implementation is key. And if you read it as an electronic cash system, it's in the title. It should work like an electronic cash system.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I think people, they see electronic cash, peer-to-peer electronic cash, but they don't see that end word, which is system. And system, is huge. It's a lot bigger than
it is.
peer-to-peer.
It's getting per word. It's getting more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always say bit is also should be more interesting than the coin, because if you say Bitcoin, people end up in coin, and oh yeah, coin we sell.
Yeah.
What is the bit about? I don't care.
So do you think then that, like, because obviously like Gary Gensler
Yes.
and the SEC and everything, I mean, they're coming down hard on the kind of industry,
Too late.
crypto.
Maybe.
Do you think it's too late? Yeah. Do you think? Oh, I was getting, because that was the question. It's like, do you think it's hindering progress or speeding progress up, or actually this has come at a point, the right time, or?
Again, if you come from just product compliance, I guess he should have done maybe before, but we know regulation always comes late, and they don't want to get the bubble burst, so they come when the bubble is bursting, and I think we have it already. So maybe it's correct for their timing, because bubble is bursting. Okay, they come in, regulate, and maybe at least kill those incompliant, non-compliant, non-registered, whatever things on the, and even the markets. This is because maybe you remember I was market making. I know how to do market making and regulate it, and with all the, so we have also trade compliance in our bank. There are trade compliance guys that check things and report things and do the things. And I guess we have no I don't know. I don't see any of these guys they claim to make the volume in the crypto markets having applied to trade compliance at all.
No, I mean when
Nothing.
Tether can just print
That, that,
off a
that
billion Tether.
this is the next thing. The metric on all this of is not in real US dollars. It is something
No,
else. I don't
yeah,
know.
no,
It's,
yeah.
yeah.
This is just numbers pulled out of
Yeah,
thin
yeah,
air
yeah.
and,
So
and,
there's
and
also
straight
no
onto a.
audits behind, no, and they claim what are 80 yards they do or whatever, and they have no from the big four behind. So it's a joke in principle, a bad joke. Yeah,
So do you think it's going to get very messy over the
it is
next year
already
or
messy. I
so?
would say it is
Even
already
more
messy.
messier?
Maybe we see the last how to say, the last shock there, because now people figure out that the connection to real banks are cut. That's
Yeah,
what we see. The connections is cut. Everybody is going back to tethers, kind of.
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
well, this
growing.
is
Yeah.
yeah, because what do they do? You go
The,
onto an
l-
exchange, you buy a
try to
coin, you buy a coin, you
try the
turn
last
it
fix.
into
Yeah,
a.
try the last fix. Push the market higher, because maybe you find some stupid guys buying stuff. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, this is I mean, you can't use that in the real world.
No.
BSV actually, weirdly, you can use it in the real world.
We
Um,
see it. That's why I think I come to the Coin Geeks, because I see there is biggest hate on crypto troll Twitter, which is a good sign. So if
if
you, yeah,
if
so
you're
if you get,
being
yeah,
attacked,
yeah,
like, then you're doing
yeah.
something right. Because
What
yeah,
what maybe what is the biggest success right now? We can figure out the bad people.
yeah,
They're all there now in public. You find even people who you'd never seen before telling you, oh, crypto is the best thing ever, and the store value of BTC is something that fixes the planet. Something,
yeah.
yeah. So and then I said, okay, yeah, yeah, interesting. So okay, I not deal with you.
And it really is interesting because I mean, I like the people I talk to are on completely different levels than you, but they just have no clue. Like they
Mm,
seriously don't. So it's a it's a kind of 6 to 8 hour conversation if you want to kind of rectify the wrongs in people's heads about what they understand, and it's
mm.
like, okay, so
But
how long
yeah,
do you need to give
the
me
problem the
to
problem
explain?
is the thing is getting already one or two steps too complicated. As you mentioned before, the Bitcoin the people are not even reading the headline fully.
No,
They
no.
stop at I would say the most stop at coin.
Well,
Stop.
this is a
Yeah.
clickbait though, isn't it?
Yes.
Coin,
Yeah.
digital
They
gold,
stop with
get rich
coin. Maybe
quick.
coin was the
Yeah.
so yeah. We can't blame Satoshi for picking up the coin anymore, but it's done. Yeah, it's out. It should have maybe just call it blockchain. Yeah, it's sad. So,
So
but you couldn't expect you can't predict future. Yeah,
no, well, actually, it's a good point because my next kind of question was about, blockchain technology is
yeah,
going to
whatever. Yeah.
continue to evolve. Specific, so like, I think I said this before. Craig kind of looks 20 years into the future. I think most people probably look 5 to 10 years into the
Mm,
future. So,
mm.
I mean, what is your kind of stance on where things might be 5 years down the line, 10 years down the
Okay,
line?
so for me, still the most interesting thing is still the running games. The running games. It's still up. The resilience there is there. It has taken out um, also the consultants. I would say
Hmm.
nobody. Maybe miners are a little bit busy with consultants to figure out how do they improve. But I would say not much. Maybe we should ask Kurt.
Well,
We should, yeah.
You reach out and try and get Kurt back on the show. He's a very
Yeah,
difficult person
it could be
to pin
interesting. So
down. Yeah,
I would say the idea. So maybe from if you start a role play game, there you have a master and you have a few people who have lots of fun and try
yeah,
to get better and keep the game running. You don't need consultants there.
yeah, yeah.
Mm?
So what about? I mean, the next Harvening is next year. Is it 2024? For me, I think that the Harvening next year is quite a significant event because this is when the the kind of
Mm,
landscape is going to
mm,
change a
mm.
lot. Are we looking at this as another kind of game theory? See what happens to the miners in 2024.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm not too. Yeah, I'm not because this thing is on the roadmap already. There's nothing really kind of a black swan event there, I guess. Maybe even the regulation we see coming down now is not really a black swan because they, at least if you have intelligent people also on the dark side running these markets, they
Yeah.
know in principle what's coming.
Mm.
And maybe
Mm.
that's the thing why they all already try to uh, move into tethers and hope that that's where the safe haven is for them.
Yeah.
But the halvening is I'm not really. I don't. Yeah, I expect not much there to come in addition. That it's just the subsidy is getting halved, and the problem with fees is getting harder. Maybe I don't know. For at least for I think you think of BTC if there's an issue there. Um, for BSV, if you really get the business, which maybe it's also a driver for getting more business really
Mm.
on the chain, use it. I'm also a fan of. I think Christian Ager Hansen said something about that you should go out, look for business who maybe a quite healthy business, but you can improve if you buy them and improve their IT in principle and the backbone, which that I want to see. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I
maybe
mean,
can help there too, and in the future because I
yeah.
might know a few business doing such, or could be in charge.
Well, sometimes, like you say, I mean, just changing that static infrastructure and making it more stable could actually benefit many,
Absolutely,
many businesses, and
absolutely.
specifically the way that we understand the BSV runs as well. And I've said this many times before. There's so many businesses I think would be far more beneficial moving over to a blockchain
Mhm.
structure, especially BSV.
You, you
I
you
mean,
know,
and the other thing as well is, well, I was just going to say, because you're saying about
yeah,
banking and anti-money
yes,
laundering
yeah,
and everything. I
yeah.
was just literally watching a program about
Okay.
scammers and fraud. Okay, so I mean, we in I don't know
Mhm.
what it's like in Germany, but one of the biggest problems in this country is people phoning you up because they've got your information from Facebook,
Mhm. Mhm.
and scammers literally putting you in a situation where they ring up and say, "Oh, your bank account has just been flagged up with an emergency or whatever,
Okay.
and we
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
to do this." And they get access to either your PC or your phone,
Mhm.
and then they literally then, because they've got access, they get you to log into your Amazon account and they spend on your credit card, or they get you to log into your bank. And there's so many people that have fell victim to this,
Mhm.
but it's one of
Mhm.
the biggest crimes that seems to happen every year in the UK, at least, is to fraud, to these scammers,
Mhm.
bank
Mhm.
fraud,
Mhm.
literally from
Mhm.
credit card fraud,
Mhm.
basically. So I I see it improving if
Mhm.
the structure was
Mhm.
put onto
Mhm.
BSV. I don't know if you I don't know. I just see that it would combat fraud. Not stop it completely, but it would help to combat
Yes.
it.
The yeah, I know what you mean. And the sad thing is that the credit card companies are wrapping it up into their fees in principle, all the insurance for these things,
So it goes
and
back
clients
to,
don't see it properly. And I
yeah,
think I have heard about that these they are about to change, to at least to regulate them, that you can see how much people pay for these insurances and the fees and whatever, where is it going to, and maybe then you see can figure out how big is how much money is spent on insurance and paid for these
yeah,
frauds. Yeah, but
yeah.
right now it's covered kind of, and people are not really recognizing that is a big problem. I would agree, it is a big
I mean, it's in
problem,
the
and you can fix it.
billions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was 1.26 billion
Yes.
in 2020.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's,
is big. Yeah, it's big.
yeah,
Yeah.
huge.
I guess that this is something, yeah, sure, that you can fix it, because yeah, if you have, it's a logging and a tracing issue in the end always. And okay, why not logging it on the blockchain properly?
Mm, mm,
And maybe also have, this is also a good case. I hope it's coming, at least for worldwide adoption, uh, in a regulated business, is that you can get back your funds. Yeah,
yeah.
there's this is a joke. Yeah, that you can say, oh no, it's gone. Huh? No.
Yeah, because I
Uh,
mean, this is one of the things. I mean, people they put it down to, well, it's your
mm,
fault because literally you didn't know that it was a scammer and it wasn't
mm,
actually a genuine call. So it's your fault. You took the call.
mm.
You listened to what they said. You
Yes.
fell for it.
Yeah.
Which actually is really harsh when you're a victim of that kind of
Yes.
crime.
Yeah.
You know, so to be then told that actually, well, it's your fault. You're a victim of crime is it's really horrible, to be honest with you. Um, so like, have you got any pearls of wisdom that you would like to share with the audience?
Pearls of wisdom. Yeah. So maybe the last point I was trying to say was, I'm seeing it rather in the, maybe you know about business continuity management. This is, it is also really crucial in trading sectors. If you have trading IT, and your IT is not the same resilient that Bitcoin runs, because
Hmm.
it's down, it's hacked, it's whatever, it's PCs are not working. Um, you have really a big impact if a trading desk have no clue about the last position and where it went, and you lose really big money. You could lose really big money,
Yeah,
and there is really a case, I would say, you have to have same resilience on the systems of the IT, like in Bitcoin. No downtime in principle, no connection downtimes, and the miners are looking for that it's up, because there's incentive. Right now we have not the proper incentive structures in the entire IT frameworks, and I guess I know how to fix it. And I
excellent.
invite everybody to talk to me, because it's a game theoretical approach. So who knows game theory best?
And on that,
Yeah.
this is your website link just
This is
here.
my own created website. Yeah, don't blame me for being bad. I'm a physicist, so I'm I kind of,
The coding works perfectly.
the UI is not really the best, but I'm happy. I'm not
It
I'm not
does the
a I'm
job,
not
and that's
a
the main
I'm
thing.
not a web dev. I'm a backbone dev kind of.
Yeah.
Still, maybe I'm
So
getting better there.
if people do want to get in touch with you, they can
Yes.
use this. But you said you're
Yeah,
also
I
on
think there's
LinkedIn
the
as well,
link.
yeah?
The LinkedIn is there. It's better via LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So any last words that you'd like to
Um,
say other than we've had your pearls of wisdom, so
yeah. So just, I think I love Kurt's, is be good to each other. It helps. Look for
mhm.
your reputation,
Yes.
and help building.
And I always like there's quite a few people that I really admire, Bruce Lee being one of them, and I love the phrase about be like water. So obviously what it means is you bend and you flow and you adapt to situations that are put before you. But I also like the Steve Jobs quote, which is the only way to do great work is to love what you do, and if you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle, but keep
And look
looking
for
for
the
what you
fun.
do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing now. Look for the fun. Then a game is always the best thing to learn. And we have to turn most of the things we should learn into a game, and then it's coming by no yeah, I would say no hustle.
Yeah. Well, there used
Mm.
to be a board game called The Game of
Yes,
Life. I don't know if you ever played it or not,
yes,
but I certainly played The Game
yeah,
of Life many times, and
yeah.
that's what we're doing. We are playing, this is life. This is a game in a respect. If we take it too seriously, then we aren't going to enjoy the beauty that's out there, that's, God given to everybody. So,
And you learn about risk in the games. You can
yeah.
really by not losing really much, except of yeah, you learn always, I guess. Yeah.
I do actually have a question for you because how do you feel about like off grid? Do you think, because you did like biochemistry, so how do you feel about people who don't want anything to do with technology and they don't want to get involved with technology? Do you think they're missing out, or do you think actually, you know what, it's totally down to you what you want to do? I respect your decision on that. I mean, do you think computers are necessary in this day and age
Okay.
to be able to function on, you know?
Again, so my wish is to have same level of. So okay, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not. I cannot speak for people who don't like a Lego set of a bundle where you can buy in the shop. Maybe it's just. I think there's also Lego Friends for the girls there. So I have two girls, so they're buying sometimes some stuff for the girls, but they're not really the Lego guys like me. But anyhow, there is Legos out there, and it's easy. They make it really easy to you for building yourself.
Hmm.
The same level
Hmm.
computer coding should be. And I love Jerry Chan, his robots idea. He
Yes.
is at the right track, but I say it must be completely open game. So you have, and there is something like, have a look, like even from Lego, there's Lego Mindstorms, mm, where you can buy a roboter and you can just plug and play, plug together some virtual Legos for coding the roboter. And there's
Oh, right.
Google, yeah,
Okay.
that's really
Okay. I
easy,
didn't know that.
really
Okay. So we
easy.
used to have Space Station Lego and like
Yes, it's just
JCBs and
virtual
stuff like
Legos,
that.
or maybe there's, how is it called? There are some games where you just plug and play. At least the UI you can plug together, like, and even Google has something like Blockly.
Yeah.
Just check what Blockly is, where you can yeah, kind of plug together your web page with a Lego-like set. But still, we are not there. We have not really the full game up there where you can just go into a shop and buy some bundles of Lego for maybe, I would say there's a nice solutions for these value chains
Mm.
in
Mm.
business. So there's kind of a industrial Legos, I would say.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Then you
So any,
know where I'm looking for. Yeah.
yeah.
Please
So any
please get
kind of plug
to
and
me. I'm
play. Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
That's that. No,
That's the
actually, yeah.
future.
Yeah.
And for this, that's what I think that I told it last Coin Geek. The problem is always in Legos have the smallest piece. What is the smallest piece to get your UI nice enough? Yeah, the big ones are okay. We are big blockers here, yeah, okay, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but for getting the best or to fit all the Legos together, kind of, you need micro or even nano Legos,
Yeah.
and try to create this with other blockchains for
Well, this
free,
is so
kind of.
true.
They
Yeah,
must
this
be
is so
kind of
true.
free.
Yeah.
You have
This is,
only one blockchain that can solve it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. If you build a rocket and you miss a smallest screw,
You're screwed. Yeah, you're screwed.
yeah,
Yeah, really.
yeah,
And in the
yeah.
end, maybe we are starting with zero zone once again, if you do it right. Yeah, and that could be quite interesting. And now Greg has a patent of if and else, I guess. Youpie doo. Okay.
So, have you been following the philosophy course as well? I have to chuck this in there because I'm
Yeah,
quite
I would
yes.
say I had Latin at school too.
Oh wow.
Um, and
Well, not many people study Latin anymore. I mean, I think
yeah,
it's a shame, and I think people
and
should
I
do it.
I I was my teacher tried to get us into Greek too. Um, I have my so from my learning on physics, so the modeling, physics and modeling is one of, or even math. So I had to do lots of, I had an extra kind of a double how do you say, I did math and physics in the beginning, more or less both.
Okay.
And from math you learn a lot about a philosophy already. At
Hmm.
least you
Hmm.
it teaches you think about logic, and the logic is kind of shared about across all humanity. I guess nobody has a different logic. Or I've not. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Why we can understand talking math, I guess, across the planet. To every human has the same sense for math, which is right and which is
Yeah.
wrong. But
Yeah.
this is just a model. Math is really
Yeah.
a model, yeah, for what is right and wrong. So for philosophy, it's quite interesting. What is math in the end? Helps it for philosophy or doesn't help it? You get
Suppose
really.
there's a
Yeah, because
question to
the logic,
ponder. But
what is the logic? The philosophy is searching for the truth, isn't it? So,
yeah.
what is truth? And if the truth in math, you can define it. The truth is really a kind of a singularity. It's just true or not true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there, in physics, you come up with, okay, it's a distribution. That's quantum mechanics. Yeah, you cannot really have something which is true or not true. You come up with a distribution, and you have to match it in the end to find a real truth with an observation. Also, you have to be two people or two things that can decide it's there or it's not there.
And with the Hadron Collider, though, truth is always being changed and pushed forward. Like, I mean, because there are discoveries that have been made in recent years that actually put physics learning on its head.
Mhm.
I mean, so nothing is actually as we think it is. And
Yeah,
if
I would say I'm not ready. I'm not finished with my modeling. So the problem is that we still are in the yeah with because physics is really strong at the moment, or still very strong, keeping people on the material levels.
yeah,
And for me, we haven't even started to go. There's more, yeah, than just material
well, that's
things.
what that's what metaphysics is. That's my domain. Yeah,
But
yeah,
this is overwhelming at the moment for many people, because we
yeah.
can't even get physics done. And math, okay, you need math too. But for the rest of the philosophy, which is, I guess, in the end, it's life. Yeah,
Well, this is why
I
we
show
are
you. I
all
show you.
eternal students, isn't it? We are forever learning, and we don't actually, never think that you know everything
I
because you
have
do not know
something.
everything.
Maybe I can I draw something and you see it
Yes.
here? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I can see a blank piece of paper at the
Yeah,
moment. This is
still
going to be
blank.
interesting.
Blank. That's quite interesting. So, can I draw with this? Oh yeah. Okay. You see me drawing?
So there's a little dash. There's a tiny little dash on a
Yes.
big blank space.
Okay. That's quite interesting. So this is where we are coming from. It's
Yeah.
still a dash we don't know. We have no clue. But we have an attractor. In physics, you have attractors too, which is kind of a huge mass. Yeah, I'm not in physics here. I would say my attractor somewhere here is love. Yeah,
Okay, lift the
love
page up
or
a little bit
life.
so we can, yeah, lift the
So
page up a little bit.
you come down
Yeah.
somewhere. We don't know where. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there is something happening if you come to Earth. There's some funny happening. You get another completely another way. You here starts maybe life starting here. We don't know when life is starting.
That's
Yeah,
it. I can see it now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you come down somewhere and you hit the planet somewhere. You're getting born. So there's something happening. Yeah, something's happening, and I think the reason is love. There must be something red. I don't have red. So think about something red here is love, yeah? And you start living and your mother is really looking for you, yeah? But you have to learn something. You go away, yeah? Kind of. You start your own way and you get a curve here, yeah, to get you have to learn something. But if you get older, you think about love again, yeah? What
Mm-hmm.
happens? You
Mm-hmm.
have to where's the love? You have to get this direction back to love, and maybe you find somebody who does love with you, and you get a baby. You know what happens?
The
Oh,
process starts all over
another
again.
fork. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have children, and then you get old. But if you forget about love, you're gone. Yeah, but you have to think about love.
Oh,
There
it's
you
so
are.
lovely. That's so sweet. That's
That's
lovely.
interesting. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's what we're completely missing in physics. Yeah,
The love.
kind of. But you see, I'm not really the best in getting you a picture, but this is the story I think we should look after.
So we have this. This is a perfect place to stop as well. On
Okay.
love.
Always think
Everybody,
about love because
yeah,
that
always.
keeps you on the track, yeah. And this is the
Yeah.
right track.
And keep loving your heart.
Okay. Yeah, you can do it better. I'm just giving you the idea.
Dr.
Okay.
Vogel, I am so honored to have you here today as well, to be able to chat to you. So I was going to throw in as well, actually, I find that quite interesting because that's exactly what Buddhist monks do, is it in the sense of, say you have a light, and light is what
Yes.
brings life to earth.
And physics
And
is somewhere outside here, yeah. You learn
yeah,
about physics. That's outside, yeah. We are not
yeah,
we're just here with our brains mostly, yeah. But
yeah,
you should be here. Maybe you should be, but it's the entire life. Yeah, it's bigger than
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And as one of my heroes always said, which is John Lennon, you know,
Oh.
it's all about love me do. It's all about love, and they fear love because love is something they cannot destroy.
That's true, yeah. But you have to work for it a little bit sometimes.
It's been an absolute honor and
Yeah.
pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks a lot for you.
And if anybody wants to get in touch, here's the website, and it'll be down in the description box. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thanks. Cheers.